We are going to be covering the WSL winner, the top 3 teams, the relegated team, overachievers, just one club, best newcomer, only one newly signed player, top scorer, player of the season, and biggest what the fuck moment. Right, let's go with the biggie then. We might as well start at the very, very top. WSL winner. Chelsea obviously picked up the title. Last season, it was getting a bit monotonous. Same old, same old. Another win under Emma Haynes' belt. But so close. Only one on goal difference. Man City also had 55 points. Do we think Chelsea have it in them to get another title under the new leadership of Sonia Bompastor? Or do we think there's going to be a new WSL holder this year?
It's really hard. It's harder and harder every season to predict. I think Arsenal look good in their Champions League games. They've made some really good signings. I think they could really challenge Chelsea. I think City will be up there again. I think it will be between Chelsea and Arsenal. And I
don't go sitting on the post.
I was going to finish.
Sorry, I jumped in.
Yeah, you did. Jesus, give me a minute. I think Chelsea might edge it.
You're joking. How boring.
They are stacked, and they've looked good in pre-season. I think Arsenal are stacked as well. Arsenal have also looked good in pre-season, but you never know. They could, they could get so deep into Champions League and really want to win it that Arsenal could get in there and get the league.
You're getting one bum cheek back on that fence, aren't you?
I'll take my arse off and say Chelsea.
Oh my God, that's just
so sorry.
Oh, that's so last season. I'm gonna go Man City.
Love that.
Yeah. They just came so close to it last year, and I feel like there was this kind of like real drive, real passion, real energy. Like last season, obviously didn't do too much in the recruitment, but this season, obviously, bringing in the big dog, getting in Viv on a cheeky little free. Plus, obviously, we were really, really excited about Risa as well, but obviously with the ACL news, not so much. That's going to be her season, but next season, the season after, I think that's going to be absolutely pure passion. But in terms of like Viv, Shaw, Hemp, Kelly, that is an absolute force.
Spicy, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Jill Roord coming back in the fold.
Oh, don't. And
Jess
even
Park.
like some of the youngsters as well, like obviously Naomi Lizelle. This is like a team that's primed for glory this year. I feel like they had all the pieces, they had all the ducks in the row last year, didn't quite come off. But obviously like Chelsea, they're going to have to deal with like a new management style, a new style of play, like new leadership. Like that presents like different challenges in the change room, like new types of personality. So yeah, they don't have that, the comfortable wings of Emma Hayes anymore.
It's such a weird thing you're doing with your arms.
Looks more like breaststroke.
You also have to factor in that Man City have Champions League to contend with this season should they get through the qualifiers.
Easy.
I'm really hoping there are 3 English teams in the Champions League this season. Fingers crossed. It'd be great.
Oh, that'd be sick. I mean, I don't
know how we'd cover it all, but more football.
I'm just really hoping in my heart of hearts that Paris FC don't destroy another English team.
Damn giant killers.
Thoughts and prayers. Right, moving on. Top 3 teams. Obviously, I'm sitting pretty with Man City.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. And then I'm going to go Arsenal and then Chelsea third.
Oh, love that.
Okay. Yeah. I just like Arsenal again for me. I think like obviously like I'm so excited to see like Mariona Cadenti like hitting the WSL absolutely hard. Like they didn't need more firepower, but they were like, oh, do you know what? We'll just keep adding firepower. We'll just keep like overflowing that bucket of attacking threat like this entire summer.
I will say, I think they failed to replace Chloe Lacasse. I'm surprised they let her go because Beth Mead was injured for some of the Champions League games, and Caitlin Ford is then forced out to the right, which isn't really her natural position. And I think not having cover for that right wing isn't ideal. So I was surprised they let Lacasse go, but Caldente looks unreal. I think she's been an unreal addition. Rosa Kafaji as well is very, very exciting too. And we've seen some flair from her when she's been brought on as a sub. So that's exciting as well. And they've got some really good youngsters. So yeah, I think Arsenal are going to do well this season. I think like Chelsea and hopefully Man City as well, they'll go deep into the Champions League. But I think I'm going to, obviously because I said I think Chelsea will win it, I'm going to go Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. We had a very gutsy shout out from Sonia on our Instagram. Sonia. She said, Man City will not come in the top 3.
Oh, are you offended by that?
A little.
Have you gotten a Man City shirt for this season? Is this going to be the team now you bang on about every week?
No, I did actually pick up an Arsenal shirt.
Oh God, okay.
It's the third kit. It was so beautiful, and I went to the game, and it was just stunning, and it was like staring me in the face.
It's a lovely pastel colour, isn't it? It really pops in the camera as well.
It really does, and when you've got a tan, it really does really set you off.
Okay, well, some of us aren't that lucky to be able to achieve that, but what is really annoying is my wife is great at getting a tan, and everyone insists on telling me about it. It's like they look at me, and it's almost like they're subtly saying, God, her tan's great, where were you?
Let it go.
No, I'm Irish, I can never let it go.
Anyway, getting back to Arsenal's third kit, it's an absolute piece of class.
Maybe if I get it, actually, I'll look less pale.
I think there's only so much a third kit can do.
Okay.
Yeah. Relegated team. Who do we think it was going to be? Bristol City, obviously relegated last season. They finished the season on 6 points, having lost just 18 games with 3 draws and a win. Obviously, they went down to the Championship. Crystal Palace came up. Who do we think is going to be a Championship team next year?
I hate this question because I hate having to predict someone not doing well, because you want everyone to be able to stay up, and I hate seeing teams get relegated, especially if a club gets relegated and then God forbid their club decides not to back them anymore and they continue to fall. We hate to see that, and hopefully we get to a point where we've got more teams coming up and more teams going down rather than just one. But I worry for Crystal Palace. I just think that the difficulty...
Don't say that.
I know. I'm thinking West Ham and Crystal Palace are the teams that are worrying me this season. And it's one thing to have to come up. It's another thing then as well with all of the transfers and all of the ins and outs and getting them to gel quickly, because it's a very unforgiving league. And I think sometimes it's difficult when you're trying to find your feet, that if you don't kind of get any kind of rhythm going, it's really hard to catch up. And I think that's kind of what happened to Bristol at times. Mm-hmm. And then you get a couple of injuries to key players and it just gets harder and harder, and it's a slippery rope, So I hate saying it, but they're the 2 teams I'd be worried about.
I think I've got to agree with you there. As in West Ham, not Palace.
Okay.
I do think Palace have recruited pretty bloody well this transfer season. I was getting a little bit worried because they've left their transfers until very, very late.
Oh my God, keeping us all in the dark.
Literally, they kind of had a flurry of 3 or 4, and then there was radio silence for a month or so. But Georgia Fox, Poppy Pritchard, Katie
some good
Stengel,
experience.
Yeah, some
Katrina Vea, Katie Stengel coming back.
Shay Yanez. Where hasn't Shay Yanez been?
Honest to God, Mike Cato is meant to be a very exciting youngster as well to see. Josie Green's got some great experiences.
Josie Green.
So it's, what's good is you've got players in there who have WSL experience, and they'll be key to bringing everyone together.
International experience. Ajax, PSV, Everton, Chelsea, Man City, Gotham. That is absolutely, that's a front-loaded treasure chest of experience.
That Palace-Chelsea little relationship where they've got lots of players going there on loan, it kind of reminds me of Arsenal-Villa, where Villa were always like, oh, you've done with that player? Yeah, thank you. We'll have her. Cheers.
But that's why I think...
Shall we switch goalkeepers?
But no, that's why I kind of think Crystal Palace are probably, I wouldn't say safe, no one's safe in the WSL, especially when you're in your first league, your first season into the WSL. But I think it's going to be West Ham for me. We were talking at the start, just before the show started, about the transfers that have gone out of West Ham, and how devastating I think that is likely to be. I mean, it's good that Katrina Gore has just been announced the new captain. I think that's really nice to kind of have that kind of leadership at the helm. But at the same time, and we were saying Mackenzie Arnold, Mel Phillips, Riza, Howard Sissoko, Emma Snell,
Monica Hayashi, yeah.
You've literally got you said it first, I don't want to steal your words, but the backbone of the squad is departing, and I'm really worried for them.
Rianne Skinner spoke about this, and she spoke about the struggles of kind of these shorter term 2-year contracts that is kind of the killer, and and it's not, I feel for her, I feel for the team. I'm sure they want to be progressing year on year, but I worry that when you see them allowing so many players kind of come to the end of a contract, it just shows a bit of a lack of ambition. And I think losing players like that, it just ends up being a bit of a rinse and repeat cycle of we've stayed up and then people leave, and then we get a load of new players, and then you try and get them all to gel again and try and get them all bought into your style of play, and then next year a load of players will leave and you get new players in, and it's just now to be fair, some of the players they brought in are exciting. Manuela Pavi I'm excited about. They've managed to keep Shalina Zadorsky as well. They've brought in quite a few. It's just a big job on your hands for a manager to then have to get everyone to gel again. So yeah, it's that's what makes me worry about them, because like I said, it's an unforgiving league, and trying to have that time to get everyone working and to get your style of play embedded, you could be 3 or 4 games down by then. Do you know what I mean? But look, there's been a bit of a longer pre-season this season, so maybe teams, they've been away. What was great was 3 WSL teams went to Australia to play each other.
Yeah, the Perth International Cup,
where they just played each other.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you could have kind of done that,
and PSG, but
you could have probably done that in Europe if you wanted to save on cost. But
nice little trip.
The WSL has so much money now that it's easier to fly thousands and thousands of miles to play European games than it is in the country.
Guys, you've not had a major tournament. Come on, let's get some jet lag somewhere else.
Absolutely. But a great opportunity to kind of like get the WSL in, down under's eyes.
Down under.
Yeah.
But also, I guess, having a bit more to a friendly, making it a cup, making it an international cup, and it just making that friendly feel a little bit more important. But
they do cups over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They
but
do
still,
cups here.
We shall see. I think that was the difficulty is for them is getting everyone to gel quickly, and it just felt like Rianne Skinner was finding her feet with the club, implementing a style, and then they have to kind of almost start again a little bit. So I agree with them being potentially a worry.
Right, overachievers. You can only pick one club. A lot of our listeners have said Villa will be the overachievers.
I think that's probably based on their signings and their pre-season. I gave this team a lot of flack last season, and I do think they've had, and I am slightly going against what I said with all the ins and outs, but Brighton look quite exciting. I think they've made some really good signings, and I think having the likes of Fran Kirby in there, Nikita Paris, Michelle Aguiamang, that's
the one that I can't wait to see.
I just think they've been scoring in pre-season well, and they've got a good blend of experience as well in there. It's going to be a lot to get them all on the same page quickly, and I do hope Brighton actually give this new manager a chance to get them on the same page. But I'm going to put them as my overachievers.
Oh, I kind of wanted to do them as well.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I do think, like you said, like the signings, I wasn't expecting the calibre of signings at Brighton. And we were shocked, I think, to see Fran Kirby go to Brighton. I was kind of expecting her to make a move maybe over to Palace.
And then Keats.
And then, I didn't see that coming either. I mean, the mass exodus from Manchester United right now is absolutely killer and still continuing. But yeah, for me, like Michelle Aguiamang, 18 years old, obviously playing for Watford last year. There was that beautiful moment in the season when they had that cup tie with Arsenal and she scored against them, which I thought was absolutely stunning. And that was kind of like you could see then that she was sort of coming into kind of mainstream consciousness. So I think that was a massive, massive signing for them. And I don't know, I mean, it feels like the kind of Grace Clinton kind of situation where she's obviously not going to get too much time, game time at Arsenal with all the calibre of players they have there. She still needs to build her experience in WSL level. Gone over to Brighton to kind of get that experience, and then it's going to be it's tossing and towing of Brighton Arsenal at the end of the season, trying to get her back.
I'm so excited for her to get WSL. Go out and loan to WSL.
Yeah, all day.
That's going to be massively, huge for her experiences. I saw her play against Southampton as well, and she looked exciting. Arsenal made a whole rake of changes at halftime. They brought on 9 different players, and there was a load of young kids playing, and they played with such freedom and bravery. So, yeah, she was a great get for me. So that's why I'm going to lean towards Brighton. But I do think Villa might overachieve. It's not a bad shout.
I'm going to go as a secondary because we both picked Brighton. Probably Crystal Palace.
Okay.
I think there is something about, I don't know, being in the WSL for the first time. Apart from Bristol City, who have obviously been in the WSL, gone back, been in the WSL, gone back. There hasn't been a club yet who has gone into the WSL in the new era of the WSL and gone out. And I just think there's a strength in knowing that you haven't got to get to the top 4. No one's expecting Champions League glory. No one's expecting even mid-table. But there's just an expectation that you just do enough. And Laura Kaminsky, I have so much respect for her.
Absolutely.
I was with her at Spurs. She is an absolutely amazing coach. And what she's done in the space of getting Crystal Palace from 4th place into the WSL, their winning streak. I've been, the training ground is amazing. Grace Williams, head of football, she's been incredible. The signings that have been making. The girls, I was down at the training ground 2 weeks ago. The girls are relaxed, they are comfortable, they are happy, they're on flying form. So I do feel people are kind of a little bit nervous about a new WSL entrant, but I feel Palace are quietly going about their business, and I think they'll be okay.
And they'll want to prove people wrong.
Yeah, for sure. There's something about that kind of like, there's no expectations, but fucking hell, we want to like go and like, prove that we should be here all day. So yeah, I think they're probably my overachievers. Please be me right. Best newcomer. You can only choose one newly signed player.
I'm worried we're both going to pick the same one.
Before you get stuck in, Sue sent her predictions to us on X/Twitter. She thinks Arsenal's Caldente.
Me too.
Will be the next best newcomer.
Yeah, I just saw her in the Champions League, a kind of qualifiers, Group 1 stage, if you like, and she looks so exciting. She's come in, hit the ground running, already got great relationship with Katie McCabe on the left side. She can cut inside. She is exciting, and I'm really pleased that, when I saw Lacasse leave, I thought, the catchiest chant in the WSL is gone. And
that's what you were sad about.
Yeah, mainly. And the Arsenal fans have made an even catchier one for Mariona Caldente. So if you haven't seen that, please get on social media and check it out, because it's unreal. But I think she's come in so quick and settled in so quick. She's the one I'm going to go for. Was that who you were thinking?
No, weirdly enough. I mean, I don't know whether this is a bit of a cheat code or not, but Lucy Bronze, like, she's technically, I know she's been in the WSL,
sure,
but like, she's technically still a newcomer to this season. I just think it'd be really super exciting to kind of see her back in it, and I'm really interested to see how she is going to translate into bums on seats at Stamford Bridge, because I do think she pulls a good crowd. Okay. So I'm just interested. We've thrown a bit of slack over the years, like, pushing up too high, that kind of thing, leaving in space at the back, but come on. Right, top scorer. Bunny Shaw was last season's top scorer on 21 goals, including 3 hat-tricks and 3 assists in just 18 appearances. She won the PFA Player of the Year award last month and has been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Who are you saying?
I remember a couple of seasons ago going really rogue. I remember going really rogue, and it backfired because that player got injured and missed like a good chunk of the season. I went for Pernilla Harder. I've not learnt my lesson. I'm going to go for someone rogue.
Oh God.
I'm going to go for someone not in the traditional top 3.
Oh, okay. All right. Spice it up.
Just for fun. Bethany England.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with. I don't know. I don't want to put any pressure on her, Bethany, but I think, last season Spurs looked really good in terms of the chances they were creating early on in the season. I think getting in your Haley Rassos, you've got a player who can help create some good chances there. And I think, last season Bethany England struggled with injury at the beginning of the season. So I'm hoping with a good pre-season under her belt, that she'll come back all guns blazing. And that's my rogue prediction. If not Beth England, then someone outside of the top 3.
Someone outside of the top 3?
Yeah.
Okay, who would be your second choice?
I haven't thought that far, Chloe. Don't put me on the spot.
Right, sorry about that.
Shut up, Chloe, move on.
Yeah, sorry.
Elizabeth Turland.
Oh, shut up!
You asked! Fuck. You could have just held your tongue, but no. Go on, tell me why Elizabeth Turland.
Well, it's not a surprise now, is it?
But tell me why. Come on.
I just think like she did so well last season, and I think like Man United are in severe need of like some positive energy. As much as I obviously absolutely love like the writing on the wall name drops that have been kicking off this season, I do think there's just like an energy about her that I just feel like she kind of like came into kind of like herself like last season. I feel like Man United is going to be an awesome chance for her to kind of work like with the top 3, like, and I just feel like this is her time to shine.
She can turn shit into gold, that girl. Poor chances. She can turn things that don't look like they're going to be a goal. She'll take that ball and be like, it's grand. I'm going up there. I'm going to put it in the back of the net. She did it a lot with Brighton.
I was going to say.
She scored like half their goals last season.
13.
Like, yeah. And I just think that's something, an area United struggled last season was quality chances. And I think you've got a player who can turn chances that aren't great into something.
Yeah, for
sure. And I think, with Celine Bizet, who I love, highly underrated player, Grace Clinton in behind, feeding through those balls.
Rachel Williams, jumping in. Yeah, I just think like I think she's going to be one to watch for sure. But I do think also like we can't get away from the fact that Bunny Shaw is definitely going to be in and around that top spot once again. Yeah. Ryan on X/Twitter reckons this season's top scorer will be Sam Kerr.
Well, I hope so. I hope she's back. I hope she's back fit, playing, able to start. I know she was saying she was taking her time with the recovery, and rightly so. There's no like pressure on her. they've got people in the team who can fill her spot. But that would be great if she came back. And
I was going to say, there's a lot of if, buts and maybes around that.
I just don't want to put pressure on her.
I think it's that. I don't want to rule it out, but also like, yeah, let's ease off. Like, let's just get her back on the pitch first.
Yes.
Like, and let's not kind of, yeah. Calm down, Ryan. Player of the season. Also Bunny Shaw last year.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. I mean, that woman can do no wrong.
I'm going to go with Mayra Ramirez.
Nice.
I think she made such a big impact when she came to Chelsea last season. Like, settled in really quickly, didn't have a lot of time to settle in, came in quite last minute in the January transfer window and really did a job. And I think with pre-season under her belt, I appreciate there's a new manager, but with pre-season under her belt and maybe Chelsea not putting pressure on Sam Kerr to come back so quickly, I think she'll maybe pick up the slack and I feel like she could be a really exciting one to watch out for. So that's who I'm going to go for. What do you reckon?
That's a really, really spicy little choice. I'm going to go for Grace Clinton.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, obviously I know she's young,
Yeah.
but I feel like she's made such an impact with Spurs. And I feel like, that's exactly why they kind of put her out on loan to kind of get that experience. Like, at the time, obviously wasn't that much of a place for her in United. Now we're sort of getting to a situation where both of them are kind of fighting or were fighting for her to come back. And like, Man United, now Celine Bizet, I feel like she's got like kind of gained that experience, gained that confidence, like just picked up the PFA Young Player of the Year. I mean, the trophy is bigger than her. It's incredible. But also like making her like England senior debut, I feel like there's so many like big, like iconic moments that have happened for her to kind of boost that confidence. So I feel going into this squad again, I feel like
she's got to get played though, right?
Run right. She can't not get played.
She has to be played.
I think that there would be absolute uproar from the Barmy Army if she was brought back into the team and sat on the bench.
Okay.
Like, what would be the point? You might as well just put her back on loan to someone like Spurs again.
You think that experience in the Lionesses as well, and maybe the role she ended up playing at Spurs allowed her to mature quicker maybe then, and allows her to get back into that team and make an impact despite the age.
And you look at the impact that she made. Like, Spurs reached the FA Cup final at Wembley. Like, obviously she couldn't play it because she was like cup tied, but like, I'm not saying she was the sole reason they were there, but my God, like, she was a big part of their campaign last year. So yeah, I mean, Mark Skinner putting a PFA Young Player of the Year award winner on the bench would be an absolute disgrace.
Okay. I feel like we've both gone like a little bit rogue. Not rogue, but maybe not your most obvious choices.
Not mainstream.
But I like that.
Yeah, good on us. Biggest what the fuck moment. This is like, it's quite a hard one to predict because there are so many what the fuck moments that kind of happen throughout the season. Like, you can talk about kind of like Katie.
Well, the reason they're what the fuck is because you're like, I didn't see that coming.
Well, literally that. I mean, it could be anything from like, okay, well, the pitches get frozen over and all the WSL teams like do like an ice skating competition.
That'd be nice
to decide the game.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I think we are going, because of what's happened this week in the Premier League with a new record of bookings. I think we're going to have a new bookings record in a game. In a WSL
what was it last
game.
season?
Something
It was
like
that
11
City game, wasn't
City
it?
Chelsea, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
It was like 2 red cards and 9 yellows or something like that.
You reckon we're going to beat that?
Yeah.
So everyone's carded?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like after seeing that a little bit this weekend in the Premier League, you know how they love to kind of emulate sometimes in that situation. So I feel like we're going to have a game that I don't know what the record is. I feel like it's that game.
I feel like we're going to have a sellout at Stamford Bridge.
Ooh.
There we go.
What, is that a WTF moment?
Well, it would be because it's been a long time fucking coming. But also, I think on the same lines, obviously Chelsea announcing their restrictions with like the player fan access, like obviously like trying to reduce kind of like the injuries and things that happen. Maybe we'll see more pitch invasions as well.
Ooh,
yeah,
I hope
because
not.
like I think fans may be frustrated by the lack of access.
Guys, don't do that.
I'm just caught. I shouldn't have said it, should I?
Well,
this is not us encouraging it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. As a what the fuck moment, we could see a lot more.
And if you're going to do it, don't do it with Sam Kerr because she'll put you on the floor.
Yeah, she will clothesline you. That's, you take your you take your health into your own hands with that one. But I do think that could be one of the things that happens.
But don't do it.
What else? There must be more.
Well, look at some of the listener suggestions here. Heaslip sending off 4 players in one match for a variety of ridiculous reasons.
That feels like a certainty.
Arsenal failed to sell out the Emirates in any game this season. That one feels really bitter.
That is, who has written that? That's a Chelsea fan who's written that. Honestly, come out and say who you are.
But I also like that it's a WTF moment because they did it twice last season. So like at least, wasn't it twice they did 60,000 plus?
It was something stupid.
So
like
I
that.
like you've actually ended up kind of being pro Arsenal because that's a WTF moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not have meant to do that.
Arsenal produced a fourth kit that doesn't do very well.
Never.
Exactly, mate. That would be a what the fuck moment. I'm trying to think. There must be some more. I
remember a game in Brighton where I'm pretty sure it was a goose flew very low over the pitch, nearly like knocking over Fitzgibbons, and I think we had to pause the game for it. So maybe something along those lines, some poultry, some sort of like bird-related pitch invasion.
Okay, well,
Seagulls at Brighton. I don't know.
Seagulls at Brighton. You've got the Eagles at Palace.
Yeah.
You've got the Robins who have just left the WSL.
The Foxes at Leicester. Let's hope they're not playing each other.
Christ,
oh gosh,
yeah.
It'd be a bloodbath.
The Devils at United. So, yeah, I think there could be a lot of things happening. And maybe some more mascots at games. That would be quite nice. Some more like activations, like pre-match activations.
That shouldn't be WTF. That should be happening.
I think everything positive that happens in women's football is a WTF moment, to be fair.
Yeah, just stop it. We're very positive.
Producer Finn has just named and shamed the people who have put in their what the fuck moments. It was Sue for the he slipped sending off, and Shane. Yeah, we see you, Shane, for Arsenal failing to sell out of the Emirates game. So, yeah, please do send more of those across because I'm actually enjoying trying to think about like the craziest moments that could happen this year. Rach, anything else to add? Any kind of like first and initial thoughts about the WSL and where we're heading this season? Yeah.
Despite having a break this summer, I feel entirely unprepared. It just seems to have come around very quickly.
Yes.
So I'm excited to get going.
Yeah, me too. I think it kind of feels like we've had the Olympics, we've kind of had like the first Champions League game, we've had these like weird and wonderful kind of like Australian NWSL like adventures,
little breadcrumbs here and there.
But now I feel like we're actually getting stuck into like the meaty part, like the start, like the big games that are going to kick off next weekend. So yeah, I'm really excited for a fourth season with you.
Yeah.
4 seasons.
I think so, yeah.
Of Upfront.
Yeah.
My gosh, I started this series when I was 30. Now look.
Oh God, well I was older, so let's not go there.
I've stopped wearing makeup, okay? I don't have time.
It's because you're so comfortable with me. You're not trying to impress me anymore.
No, I don't have time to
I
fast
see you
at the
for
moment.
you. You don't need to try and impress me.
Thank you, mate.
It's a good thing.
We'd also like to announce that you won't be doing video this year accompanying